WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of TACT-EAGLE. I'm joined not by JC today, but by Rich. Rich is making a guest appearance because it's Ree's birthday today. Rich, how you doing?
I'm good. I had to put the cheeky doing the show with who? We'll tweet there. But now, big up. I'm honoured to be able to share my somewhat knowledge on tactics. Hopefully, I do a decent job and they don't throw tomatoes at me. But most importantly, listen, big up Ree. Happy birthday. For those who don't know, Ree is the best editor in the game, man. So if you've got content and you want something edited, make sure you hit her up. But yeah, happy birthday, Ree. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up Ree. Happy birthday. Just some early comments. The dog could have been Malcolm versus Saki today, only if. Why? I don't. Wait, Rich. Yes, y'all turn me up. Big up, Chairman. This is different.
What does he mean by that?
Who? Dog? I don't know. When was the last time? Because when was the last time you was on here, Rich? I think the last time you was on here, you had like the actual like the tactics board on the magnetic.
I did, and that was just faffy to use. It's been a while.
To be fair though, if there ever was a way, a dream way of doing it, it would definitely be tabletop, camera down. Yeah, definitely, absolutely, 100% that. Onome, thank you for watching. I'm sorry, big up there, Fizz. Sorry, I missed your comment there. Do you think Glasner still likes his wing backs high? I think so.
As long as they're good at crossing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think does he like it. I think it's do our wing backs like being there. I know one of them does. I'm not too sure about the other one, but it is what it is. Big up, Damo. Thank you for tuning in as always. That's a pronunciation I like, Dan. Oh, yeah, Sheffield versus Oxford. Yeah, sorry. No, I should have thought about it. For some reason, I had in my head Malcolm was still at Hull, but yeah, anyway. And big up, Spiritual. Thanks for tuning in as always. So, Newcastle. I think, obviously, they lost last night to...
Just quickly, Dan, did you not upload the thumbnail for this?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I've just realised. Oh, yeah. How did I not notice that? I got here. I've got here early and everything, and then I've just decided not to do it. But anyway, no, is it going to load? There we go. And I've got my favourite Newcastle player behind there, Tino Livramento. I really wish we got him, but alas, we didn't. But anyways. Moving on, let's move on to the predicted 11 of both sides. Right, and sorry, JC normally does this, so I've forgotten to share the screen, but it is right here, right now. There we go. So I have gone with Henderson in goal, even though I forgot to put his name, but I thought that's pretty obvious. Tyrant Mitchell, left wing back. Mark Gay, Maximus Lacroix. I was going to say Martin Lacroix then. Trevor Chalobah, Daniel Munoz. In the midfield, Will Hines, Sheikh Doucouré, Ebere Eze, Jean-Philippe Mateta, and Ismail Assar in the front three. Do you agree with that, Rich, or what do you think?
I definitely think that's how we'll line up. Ebbs, according to Glasner, Ebbs was saying that he was ready to play in the Villa game, but he didn't want to take the risk.
Yeah. No, I think that's that. Obviously, we played well, so I think that is a good thing, and I'm glad that Glass is kind of stamping his foot down in that aspect. Because obviously, the last thing we want is someone like Eze to be injured for like 2 months because we decided to play him when he weren't ready. I think it'll be interesting to see if Eze plays like Devaney did last week, or if he kind of plays like how Eze does when Eze's playing. I think that'll be very interesting. I think on the bench, I've got some notable players there. Rich did mention that Jeff Schlupp was on the bench, but I decided not to bother even putting him on there because, let's be honest, none of us want him playing. But I do have Jefferson Lerma on there, who could be an interesting one if Glasser decide to go for him over Will Hughes. But I don't know. I think Will Hughes is probably slightly better for me at the moment. We've also got Justin Devaney on there. I think that is also an interesting shout. What do you think, Rich? Do you think Devaney deserves to keep his side in the squad, or do you think, say, a Will Hughes or Eber Eze start instead?
You could say he deserves to keep his place. Well, it's not going to happen, is it? If Eze's fit, he's going to start. That's just talked about the lack of attacking threat. Don't get me wrong, Eze hasn't been great this season, but he's one of our better attacking players. But and I was about to say that Durf is. At least he's a better substitute option than Schlupp would be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think especially against Newcastle, they're a good side. I think we do need to consider who we can bring on in later on in the game to potentially change it, and Devaney could absolutely be that guy. Also got Ashag Benoni on the bench, potentially could see minutes, but I mean, Eze's back, and Devaney played there last week effectively, so I don't think I'd surprise if he gets any minutes. And Richards is also back as well, but obviously I think you got to keep that back three the same. I think it's going to be an important game for them to have that consistency and be a bit more aggressive in defence as well. But anyways, moving on to Newcastle. I haven't done the goalkeeper there either, but their goalkeeper's Nick Pope.
That's just for goalkeepers.
Yeah. Hashtag. I play in goal sometimes at five-a-side, but I wouldn't. I'm too short to be a goalkeeper. I'm about half the height of a goal. So, in the back four, I've got Lewis Hall, Dan Burn, because Dan Burn is back from suspension. We've got Shaw, Livramento, and then in the midfield, I've got Tonali, Longstaff. I've got Longstaff twice. Apologies. One of them should be Joel Linton. Joel Linton will probably be on that left-hand side in where I've got the 10. Got Harvey Barnes on the left, Anthony Gordon on the right, and Isak up top. And this is because their injuries, probably thinking, okay, where's Bruno? Well, apparently Bruno's injured. Joe Willock is injured. Dan Burn is back because he was just gone for suspension. Sven Botman's still out. Emil Kraft is still out. And Jamal Lascelles is still out, although those last two I can't imagine would be starting anyway. So, but Rich, do you agree with their starting lineup, or is there anyone who might maybe get a chance instead?
Yes, the only potential change would be if Gordon goes to the left-hand side and Jacob Murphy goes on the right-hand side if he doesn't want to start Harvey Barnes. But apart from that, I think that's it.
Yeah, no, I think so, because I think the only other two I've got on the bench here, because I only put like notable players on there. I feel like Livramento's been more preferred this season over Trippier. I don't know if that's because of Trippier's age or anything like that. I don't know. Or maybe to deal with the counter-attacks better, perhaps. I'm not too sure. And obviously, Callum Wilson, he's a good player, but, he's not a patch on Isak anymore. But anyways, that is the predicted 11s. I'll just go through some quick comments before we move on to Richard's segment. So I believe Tyre Adamarola is faster than Sarton Lacroix. He is very quick. I will say. I think on the ball, dribbling wise, he's very good, but I still feel like his passing needs. To be fair, though, I feel like he's been quite unlucky with his loans and stuff like that. But it is what it is. If West Ham can beat Newcastle, we can. I think Newcastle were rubbish yesterday, and to be honest, in all the games I watched back, I wasn't that impressed by them this season. Gay man marks Isak, shuts him down, and thanks for tuning in, Patrick. I wouldn't necessarily say Gay, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Hope Dan burns it out. No, he is back. Big up, Richie U. Thank you for tuning in. Devaney's a better sub. How about Decore, Lerma in midfield than Hughes? I could definitely see that. Like Lerma's more dynamic in that sense. I do think Hughes is better on the presser, and I think that would be quite interesting this game. I think is Devaney only weakness pressing? Possibly. I think he's young, isn't he? He's got to get into it. Sometimes Glasner should take a look at the Leverkusen's 3-4-3 and 3-4-3 and make changes. To be fair, we don't play that far different in some aspects, like in terms of like how the defense sort of like joins the attack. Big up Outlet. Thank you for tuning in as always. And do we think Eds and Devaney as 10s would work? See, I don't.
Right now.
Yeah, and also I don't think Devaney is a 10. He's more like an 8. He's more like an 8, really. So I don't think that would be one for me. But anyways, let's move on to Rich's segment, which is how we can attack Newcastle. All right, what have you got for us?
Well, let me get my notes up as well. Look, if you see me looking this direction, I've got a second screen which has got this tactics board on here.
Professional.
So I'm not ignoring you guys. Professional. It just makes it easier. Right. Where are my notes? There we go. TACT-EAGLE. Okay.
Oh. Where have you gone, Rich? Okay. Maybe I'll do my segment and I'll just see if Rich manages to make it back. Oh no, here he is. Everyone give a drum roll. I can see him.
I can't see anything.
I can't see you, but I can see your screen. So I can see your shared screen.
I'm not here.
Yeah, I can see your shared screen, but I can't see your camera screen. Like your camera screen's just blank. Okay. Right. I tell you what, let's just I'll crack on with my bit. So in a slight change, I will talk about how we can defend against Newcastle's. Oh no, wait, hang on. I can see his camera now. I can see your camera now. There we go. What happened? Was it the internet?
My laptop's just switched off. Like
long. Right. What I'm going to do...
And my monitor switched off as well.
Oh.
Great debut.
Is it okay now? Right, I tell you what. Let's reload this. So I put the heating on today. It's an awkward time where you put the heating on, but it's too hot now.
Right, so this one, I'm going to get on with this quickly before this happens again. I cannot believe what's happened. Right,
yeah, we're all good.
Okay. Right, let me talk about how I've noticed Newcastle defend. So they tend to defend in a kind of a 4-1-4-1 formation, even though they actually play 4-3-3. So they tend to play in defending this sort of formation, 4-1-4-1. And I'm going to show you why that's relevant. They tend to back off against dribblers, which once again I'll show you in a minute. And surprisingly, they struggle from crosses. You think Dan Burns, what, 6'7"? You know, him and Shaw, it's a case where if the ball goes over one of their heads, there's always an attacker running in between both of them, you know. So we've got to bear that in mind. Granted, I don't think we do many great crosses. Anyway, a struggle with transition and the lack of pace means the centre back struggle to cover each other. So let's put that into perspective and how we can attack. Now let's assume there's a bit of a transition. So let's get Newcastle going into their 4-1-4-1. Actually, I won't make them play too deep just yet. You know, it's a much quicker way I could have done that. My bad. There we go. All right. So we're going to like about a 4-1-4-1 shape. And this is why it gets a bit important for us to kind of play in a similar format that we did against Villa, which I think was very effective. And the reason why I've got Mateta on the ball here, because I think once again he will be very, very pivotal in this, because what he did against Villa, where he dropped deep into the pockets and was able to not only turn and lay the ball off, but then also set the ball as well. Now, with this in mind, this would allow, and this is where I think we're going to get most Dodre, if we can somehow get Ebbs or Sarr picking up the ball in between the pretty much a very high midfield here, you know, and our centre backs, then we've got a lot of joy. Now, one of the things I've said is that their defense is very passive because looking over footage and how they defend, Shaw and Burns don't engage. They don't tend to engage. What they'll do is if Ebbs is running at them, that's their natural inclination is to drop back, which allows Ebbs, fingers crossed, to be able to continue running with the ball. You know, the goal they conceded against Chelsea, like Palmer's one of the informed forwards in the league, and they're just letting him run into the box. Granted, Pope should have saved it because it was near post, but literally, Palmer at the time was around here. He had his shot here. He's carried the ball 15 yards, you know. So that's going to play a pivotal part. Now, the reason why they end up shaping like this is more so because the likes of whether it's Gordon or Barnes, they tend to play high up anyway. Sometimes what also happens, you get Lewis Hall on the overlap and Livramento. So I know you're going to talk about how they attack, but this is kind of a segue to how we can transition. I think the key for us, even if Mateta is playing up top as well, is still to be able to find that pass beyond whoever these two centre midfielders are. If we do that, we're in business. And I think we can get numbers forward as well. You know, it's going to be very key to be able to bypass this midfield. And hopefully we can do that. Another aspect is pace. So let's just say they do end up bombing forward. Look at what we could do. If Sarr decides to drag himself out wide here and Ebbs here, I definitely know Decore's got the passing range. Hughes maybe not as much. But then could Maxence Lacroix be very key in this? You know, if Isak is not obviously occupying him, and I know I was very critical. I know actually, in fact, we were both very critical at how aggressive he was against Villa. I think this is a game where he can afford to be aggressive. You know, because doing that, and once again, if Mateta then drops deep, we've got an outlet ball straight to the front man. You know, and like I said, the way he's been playing, if we can turn and face their centre backs they are not going to like it at all. Granted, Livramento and Hall are very, very good going forward. Defensively, I'll say Livramento is a bit more sound than Lewis Hall is. I'm not taking anything away from them. You could argue, would you swap both fullbacks? You could put the argument there. I think Hall and Livramento are very, very good fullbacks. Obviously, Hall's just had terrible injuries, and Livramento's found his form back from having obviously ACL injuries and stuff in the past. So I think that's our biggest thing, playing on the back. As I mentioned, our passing needs to be incisive. I think we played very well against Villa, especially playing from the back.
Mhm.
Some of the popping into Mateta, he was setting it off or spinning, and that was coming from our centre backs. You know, so something like that as well. I've obviously mentioned that Mateta's going to be key to this, but the reason why I focus more so on Eze's dribbling rather than Sar's, I think he's just a bit tidy with his dribbling. Because Sar could still pick up the ball here. I don't think he beats a man as much as he should. He's got the pace for it. If it's like a ball behind, he's got the pace. When it actually means dribbling past, I don't think he's got that, which makes Munoz very key in this. Munoz is going to have to create a bit more space, you know, for Sar to operate in, you know. And if let's not put Munoz offside, that's a bit silly. And if we do get into this area, now this is where, in my honest opinion, a left-footed, right-sided player would have been so key here, because time and time again, that cross from out to in, which lands around here in between, which will probably be Burns or Shaw, happens time and time again. So JP, you just need to find yourself in around this area. You are going to get chances in this game. You know, you're going to get chances. Ebbs is very good at that pass. Sar, I wouldn't say so much. You know, so it's going to be interesting how we figure out that matchup on the right hand side as opposed to the left hand side, because we know Ebbs' quality. Once again, I said I think we can afford to be aggressive defensively, and when I mean this is in the sense of being able to attack, because, like I said, the way that they are naturally in a defensive formation, even if they did have the ball. Where's my that's the problem.
Daddy doing right in the hand and stuff. So that's it, man.
I can see it. You might see it.
When did you do purple mirrors?
All right. You can take this laptop there. Take it to your room.
Who's that?
All right. So, in this instance, I think Lacroix could afford to be very aggressive on Isak, as long as Gay and Chalobah tuck in. As long as they tuck in. And if we can somehow pick up the ball here, because obviously everywhere else we're going to have matchups. We're going to have matchups everywhere else on the pitch. You know, I think we will be in good stead to be a bit braver here. And once again, like I said, if Lacroix has the ball, he can find that pass into Ebbs or out to Sar, you know, to get us going forward as well. So, yeah, there's chances in there for us to get forward. We have to be brave. I think we have to obviously, like I said, utilize aspects of what we did against Villa. I don't think Burn and Shaw will cope with our pace, you know, but we have to make sure that our passing is on point, you know. So I'm quietly confident going into this game, just because of what I've seen our Newcastle defend. Once again, not taking away from how they attack, because that's another war game. But yeah, it's going to be very key for us to, one, get into these pockets here, and two, just be as direct as we can going forward. So I think that covers everything.
Yeah, no, I think that's, from what I saw as well, that seems so spot on. Like you said, they're two centre backs. One, they're slow anyway, and two, they're both, neither of them are that defender that will just go into a tackle. So by the time sort of Bruno, whoever the defensive midfielder is, like there's such a big gap there. And I think for us, it's like you say, it's good because you got Eze who wants to be in that position. You got Sarr who, okay, maybe he prefers to be a bit wider, but even if it's Munoz, say, moving inside, then there's so much more. There's a lot of opportunity there for us. Yeah, I totally agree. And we'll see with my bit and like how they attack as well. Like, if we can generate those transitions and there are opportunities for that, then yeah, I agree. Like, I think I'm quietly optimistic as well for this game. So, but anyways, I've said it. Now let me show you all how we can defend against Newcastle United. Right, so to begin with, I'll start off with some stats. So, Rich, you might want to turn away for this bit. They're 11. So they rank 11th on XG in the league, which isn't very good, to be honest, considering their aspirations. And right, this is mad, right? They have the 14th. They rank 14th in the league for the amount of shots in this season. 14th. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? Like, I was like, okay, wow. I mean,
it's a surprise.
Yeah, I know. And to be fair, they do generate, on average, they do generate better chances than most teams. They rank 6th for that. And on average, they take their shots, they take second closest to the goal in the league. But I think that'll make sense why that is in a minute. But having said that, so they rank 6th. That can't be right. They rank 6th bottom for the amount of goals that have been scored this season, but they've not finished their chances either. But I think that is kind of a problem, if you don't have many shots, but you create good chances. If you miss that chance, you still miss that chance. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's probably where that kind of comes from. Biggest defenders in that area is Isak and Anthony Gordon for Newcastle. But anyways, moving on from that. How do they play? So I've got some notes here. So when they have the ball, which isn't even on the pitch. So let's start from the back over here. Generally what you'll see is a back three like this. So obviously bear in mind, normally when I've seen it, it's with Bruno. So bear this in mind. And normally Joel Linton is on the wing, but obviously due to their injuries, this is probably what they're going to play. Their build-up shape tends to look something like this, and Livramento will push up. So it's a little bit lopsided, but this is generally how they kind of operate. Now, you're probably thinking, Rich, what's the really obvious thing that you might do with this kind of to defend against this kind of team? Like, if I wanted to stop their progression, is there anyone in particular I might stick a man on?
Based on the injuries, it's the DM. It's Tonali.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's Bruno as well.
Yeah, I'd rather Shaw or Burns be the one trying to play out from the back.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what most teams do against Newcastle. They'll stick a man on whoever the DM is. Obviously, normally it's Bruno, which normally works a bit more in Newcastle's favour. I haven't seen so much of Tonali, so I don't know what he's like. But if he's not starting over Bruno, I'm assuming he's not as good as Bruno. So that's the kind of shape that you are likely to see. Now, what does happen if this aspect does happen? What we will see is we will see potentially Longstaff, or sometimes it would be Joe Willock, but obviously in this case, Joel Linton. Sometimes they'll drop to kind of make a little pivot here, something like that. And but generally, a lot of their progression up the pitch isn't through the middle at all. I don't know if it's because teams don't let them do this, or if this is by design. I feel like it's a bit of both, to be honest. But they very much progress more so down the wings. So what you'll notice is, let's say it's this side. What you'll notice, actually, no, it's probably a bit of a bad shape here. So let's say they've passed it over here. Livramento is very attacking. So he's going to make these runs up and down here. Sometimes what you might see as well is you might see Gordon might drop, and then Livramento will occupy this half space where Gordon was. That's potential to happen. But to be honest with you, what they do a lot of the time is they actually just hit it long. So let's say we manage to kind of press them and so on and so forth and whatever. What they'll do a lot of the time actually is just hit it long. And normally this person will either be Joel Linton or Isak. So let's say it is Joel Linton. They'll kind of get closer together and they'll try and hit Joel Linton so he can flick it on for Isak. That's pretty much their central progression. Now, if they are a bit further up the pitch, and I would put all of the chances they create broadly into about 3 categories. One is very much them from set pieces. They do create chances from set pieces, and they have scored a fair amount of set piece goals this season. But another one that you will see is when the defense is pushed up a bit higher into sort of mid block. What you will see is, say, like a ping from one of these players, and then it'll be Isak just trying to look in over the top. Or let's say Tonali's, well, actually, normally it would have been Bruno, but he's got the ball here, let's say. Again, they'll be looking for that run in behind. And yeah, to be honest, I think their attack is really not that good. The only player I would say to watch out for is Longstaff. And people might be surprised by this, but I think he's a very intelligent player off the ball. On the ball, like, he's decent. Like, he can, he'll pass the ball around, but he's not like he's not, his passing game is nowhere near the same as, say, like Bruno or whatever. But off the ball, he's really intelligent. So let's say, for example, Isak wants the ball here, right? And let's say Livramento's, or actually, forget it. Let's say Gordon's got the ball. He's dropped off. Gordon's got the ball here. Longstaff has the intelligence to know if he's being man marked. So let's say Will Hughes is man marking him. He will move out the way for Isak to then drop like he normally does. So then that passing lane becomes available. Equally, let's say that, I don't know, Livramento's actually in the half space inside and Longstaff is kind of floating around. And let's say Gordon's making a run here. He will actually run into that space. He's a very intelligent player off the ball. He's not necessarily expecting to receive this ball, but what he's doing by doing that is similar to Will Hughes. He's dragging, say, Tyreek Mitchell or whoever it is, who's marking him away from the ball. And then that gives, say, someone like Gordon, or it wouldn't be on the other side, but if it was the other side, Anthony Barnes or someone like that. Now, when they do get into this kind of position, the only other thing that they do...
Sorry, Dan. Quick question on that one then.
Yeah, go on.
If Longstaff is going to drift out wide, not expect to get the ball, should we not just let him get it?
I think this is going to kind of feed into what I'm going to say later, but Newcastle really struggled to break down low blocks. So let's say, yeah, he does receive the ball here. He's just going to... I don't think he'd lose the ball, but he won't do a lot with it. Like, he'll just pass it back to, say, Livramento or someone like that, and then they can try and find someone in the middle. But what I will say, actually, no. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. He'll just recycle the ball, or what he might do is he might put a cross in, and this is kind of another one of their facets, I guess, is that whoever's outside here, not so much Gordon won't necessarily do this, he'll try to dribble, but someone like Livramento will try to put a cross in behind there for someone like Isak to then run in behind, or Joel Linton to run in behind. And Longstaff, I think if he is over here and let's say he does receive the ball, I think he'll just try to do the same. He'll just put a cross in, or either try and recycle the ball to Gordon or Livramento or someone like that. And then they might swap or something like that. But then that leads actually quite nicely onto what I think their problems are. I feel like their problems, they really can't break down low blocks. And to be honest, this actually feeds in very nicely to kind of like what you were saying, Rich, about trying to counter attack them. So obviously they're committing all these players forwards, right? But I just feel like there isn't really a lot of width here. I don't know, like, because Livramento, I would say, does carry the width quite well. But Gordon isn't actually a right winger. He's a left winger. And he's very much wants to drive inside. And obviously he can't really do that here. Like, he'll still dribble and do okay. But I think as long as you let them down the line, you know, try to block crosses where you can. Or even we got another centre-back, so we could go 3-on-2 over here potentially. Then all they're going to do is either not get a cross in or they're going to have to try and recycle the ball again. And I just feel like as well, they don't. And on what I will say, actually, this right-hand side is more dangerous than the left-hand side. I think the left-hand side is quite poor. And the reason I think this is because, so in answer to the question, really, we want to actually try and avoid them going to this side. Really, we want them to push them to this side. Because whilst Hall is a good attacking fullback, he's actually a midfielder. Like when he started off at Chelsea, he's actually a midfielder. But he was just good at fullback, so that's why he's been playing fullback. And because of this, he has a tendency to drift inside here rather than go on the wing. And then if this means we got Harvey Barnes out here, okay, we know he's going to cut inside, and then you've got a 2v1, and he's going to do well to get out of that. So what Newcastle might do, if Hall does move inside, then Joel Linton will go over here. Now, this would play very well to us because Joel Linton is not a winger either. So if he's in this position, for them, it's not good because I've seen him do it. He might try to go down the line, but generally he'll just chop inside and then just pass it back. On the rare occasion Hall does decide to overlap, he's not like Livramento where I know he's not the ball, but he'll try to cross it first time into the space behind. Hall will normally, he won't try to beat the man, he'll just check back. So all they're doing is just pushing our defensive line back a bit and then recycling the ball back to Barnes. Like, it's literally all it is. Like, genuinely, I went through so many of their chances, and I would say maybe 2 of them were from, like, trying to beating a low block. And I watched nearly every single, not every game, but, like, the chances of every game. And honestly, their chance creation falls in set pieces. So obviously try not to concede corners if we can. Try not to... transitions as well. So if they catch us and we're not in our shape, they're good at that, to be fair. Like, especially like people like Gordon, Isak, very quick. We have to be wary of that. I'll come on to that in a sec. And then the third one is literally, what was the third one? Corners, things. And corners, things, and sorry, a long ball over the top into that space in behind. Those are literally the 3 only ways that they make chances. And let's say that they do get frustrated with us. You know, we're holding a good shape, and they decide, okay, let's go overhead. This is where I agree. I think Lacroix needs to be pretty much on Isak whenever he can, because I think, let's say you do get Tonali in this position, they've managed to break our press or whatever, blah blah blah, and Isak is making that run. I'm backing Maxence Lacroix to keep up with him. Even if, let's say, the only thing I might say is maybe a little bit of a worry is if, let's say, Isak goes this way and then Gordon maybe makes a run in behind here. But to be honest, I think, I don't know, would Gehi catch up with Gordon? Potentially. I'm not too sure. But if he could just hold him up, then that's good enough for us, really. And obviously we got a goalkeeper who's very happy to try and come out as well.
Yeah, I guess obviously where I said that Max could be a bit aggressive here is as long as there's not as long as the other two centre backs tuck in, and also an extra runner. Because I mean, in that shape here, because there's no centre midfielder that's like in the 10 position, then Max could be a bit aggressive there. But if he tries to press the 10, that will be the issue. So I think he just needs to stick to Isak.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if let's say that this scenario does happen, I think we could get, because ultimately what we're saying is basically don't do what he did to Ollie Watkins last week when he scored that goal, basically. And I think in this particular situation, this is a situation that would worry me. But I think, let's say that Gordon does beat him. What I would like to see happen is Chalobah then covers Isak, and then Lacroix goes over if Gehi gets beaten. And I think that's a good thing with us having the three centre-backs in this particular game, is because they can kind of cover each other in that sense. And to be fair, Lacroix has done that like in other games as well. So hopefully that's a well-oiled machine that they'll be able to figure out. But that's kind of that. The only things I was going to talk about is potential traps. So obviously, again, feeding into what Rich was saying about hitting them on transitions and stuff like this. One thing that they do like to try is when they're back here, they do kind of try, like the wide player will be out wide, and when they let's say they receive the ball, let's say they've received the ball sort of under pressure. Let's bring them all over here. Blah, 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 something like this, whatever. They receive the ball under pressure, so then they just kick it down the line. By the time that player comes to face them, they'll one-touch pass into whoever this midfielder here is. And they'll do the same on the other side as well, so then they get a run in. What is a potential suggestion I think that you could see if this is setting a sort of like a press trap, because they always do this. If they get pressed up here, they always do this, because Dan Burn and Fabian Schär, as we said, are not ball-playing centre-backs. I mean, Schär can ping a decent ball, long ball, but that's about it. And if you shut off this middle bit with Tonali, they're forced to go wide. Now, if we're quick about it, if we know that they're going to do that, potentially, could we intercept this ball here and then potentially set us on a counter here? If we know they're going to do that, I don't see why not. Obviously, it's high risk, high reward, etc. That could be a potential avenue that we do.
Even on that, with Gordon, if we know that they're going to pass it out wide, for example, Hall, if just pretend that Hall's got the ball on your graphic, Dan.
Yeah.
Then shouldn't Sarr not press from the inside, but press from the outside, which forces Hall into the middle of the pitch?
Oh, what, here?
Yeah. So it kind of forces him on to his weaker foot, really.
Yeah, or either. Either or. Yeah, that's a good shout. I mean, as long as we've got the cover here, and so on and so forth. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's different methods on how we can get into these kind of areas. We can win the ball in these kind of areas. We look like we're more willing to do it recently as well, which is good. I think if we win the ball here, not only do we stop Newcastle's attack anyway, but also obviously then that sets us to potentially attack them a bit better. But I think that's everything.
As long as in that position that you've got here, that we don't lose the ball, because Isak's going to be gone.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But then that's why I think Lacroix is such a good player for us to have, because even if they do ping it over the top, even if Isak gets like a couple of yards ahead of him, I back Lacroix to at least slow him down. Do you know what I mean? So I do think we can kind of take that risk just because we do have him there. But I mean, on that note, the only other stat I really had was they rank very highly for through balls. So you can obviously see that is, this is a method that they do like to do. But besides that, that's all I've got. Is there you got any other questions on what I've said, Rich? Or
No, very self-explanatory.
nice. All right, lovely. Let's go through some comments and then we'll go on to some score predictions. Oh, sorry, this wasn't necessarily the last comment I got to, but my sense is Kamada and Schlapp are on similar levels. And I think, I don't disagree with that. Well, to be fair, I don't disagree with any of it, to be fair, but I just, Schlapp's so bad, isn't he? It's just always such a bar. Even if I got compared to Schlapp, I would be offended. But yeah, sorry, Schlapp. But yeah, just going on that, Alex. I don't think Kelly will play on Saturday just because Dan Burn is back. He was suspended, so there's no reason he would be back. He would be playing, and he wasn't very good that day anyway. I've been massively underwhelmed by Newcastle. Yeah, I agree. I think I can definitely see why they wanted Gay in the summer, although I still think they would need a more aggressive centre-back as well. I don't think Gay would work with Sharp personally, but there you go. We need to do better on set pieces. Cost us 3 points versus Villa. We talked about the zonal marking in the review. I don't like it from corners, and especially against Newcastle as well. They seem to score a lot of goals from set pieces. Right. So. I think it's very lucky Bruno's hurt. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, the good thing for us as well is Newcastle. Obviously, if it's not working for Newcastle, if Bruno's not playing well, they can bring Tonali on. But Tonali's starting. Looking at their bench, I genuinely don't know who would play in that position if he had a stinker or if he, I don't know, got a yellow or something or got injured or something. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I guess it'd have to be Longstaff, but I don't know who that would be. Big up, Tim. This feels like a match where you target for maximum points. Honestly, I think we can win this game. I think this is a winnable game, especially looking at the result yesterday as well. As long as we don't give them silly chances like we normally do. Totally agree, Tim. This Newcastle team is dusty and can be pressured. Yeah, absolutely. Even like, honestly, I saw Fulham pressing them and they didn't do much for a press. Like, literally all they did was they let the goalkeeper kick to whichever side he wanted to kick to, as in like a little short pass to in the about the 6-yard box. And then all it took was literally two players to kind of like go towards him, kicked it to the fullback, and then they just either kicked it long or kicked it down the line. So let's see. All the ways their attempts to score seem to be nullified by Lacroix. Yeah, I mean, over the top, definitely. I mean, corners, obviously, we'll need to get rid of that zonal marking. But Tim, I don't know if you saw this, but Ebbs was available for the last game, but Glasser didn't want to play him. So we're assuming that he's fit and available for this game. Wharton, I don't know, because I thought originally they said like 4 weeks, but I think Glasner in his last interview said he probably won't be back for this game, but hopefully some point in the next sort of couple of weeks, I believe. Let's see. All right, question. How much do you think Lacroix has changed the way we play to the last point? I don't think he's necessarily changed. I think he's just enabled what we want to do more, if that makes sense. Like, I think because we can afford to leave a bit more space in behind because of his pace, I think it does allow people to play a bit more aggressively in defence because they know they've got that cover. So, yeah, I would say it allows us to be a bit more risky. And in terms of a press, allowed to press a bit harder and a bit higher as well. Dan Burns back.
Just quickly, if you put, was it Martin Ryder's comment back up?
Which one?
About him wanting Cleverley and Hughes, I believe it was. Yeah. I mean, I think in a game like this, with the physicality that Newcastle have, it might be just a bit much for Cleverley. Granted, he has played well.
Guys, if you continue talking.
Yeah, and also, like I said, with the fact that their defenders, they're not aggressive enough. If we're running at them, they will back off and So we've got to get our better runners with the ball on the pitch, I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in the game, and especially this is a winnable game as well. Well, I mean, I suppose last week was as well, and whatever. But yeah, I think and I think like Eze will be so pivotal in the way we play. Like I said, they give up so much space in that 10 position. Devaney isn't really a 10. He's more. I think he's more of an 8 really than a 10. So I think having a proper 10 there would be a good idea. If Burn is back, that's huge. He's actually the best defensive passer. I mean, that's not saying much to be honest. But yeah, no, I agree. Right, moving on to some score predictions. I'll actually get up our head-to-head record against Newcastle because I don't know what it's like at the moment. I feel like we do okay against Newcastle. Obviously, we beat them at home last season. We drew against them the season before that at home. Actually, they haven't beaten us at home since COVID 2020.
Yeah, it's our away form that. Yeah, our away form's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, at St James Park. So,
all right. Who's getting thrown under the bus first?
no bus to be thrown under. I think we win 2-1.
Okay, nice. I'm gonna go. I was thinking 2-1, but I won't go the same. I'll say 1-0 because I think Newcastle's defense attack isn't very good. So I'm going to say 1-0, and yeah, either way, we're both confident, which is a good sign. I feel like this is the first TACT-EAGLE this season I've actually been somewhat confident, apart from maybe Brentford. But then that obviously vanished very quickly. So, but anyways, Alex is saying 2-0 to us. Durf is saying 1-0 like Spurs. Yep. Either way, I think someone gets a clean sheet. Yeah, I think both teams maybe not doing so well in attack. It makes sense. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Do we have any? Oh yeah, are we doing that tomorrow?
Yeah, that is. So I believe Dan, JC, and Tim. Tomorrow around 5:30, we'll be looking into a bit further the potential buyout of Techstar with Sportbank, with this Abu Dhabi and USA link. So that should be on. Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. UK time. Tim, thank you so much for even being available for that. I know you said you got to run a few errands as well. So thank you for making yourself available with your financial head on, and yeah. Match preview will be either Thursday or Friday. That will just depend on whether or not we can get a guest on. But it'll be most likely Friday. And then we're at the game on Saturday. Massive game. That's our fan cams, player ratings, etc. And then the match reaction on Sunday. So yeah, back to regular scheduling.
Lovely. Yeah, before the midweeks kick in, so we'll be on that soon. Right. Anyways, thank you all for watching. As always, it's been TACT-EAGLE, me, Dan, and Rich.
I hope I did okay, by the way, guys. I hope I did all right.
Oh, really? No, that was quality analysis. To be honest, that's exactly what I would like. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Like, just how like their defense and hitting them on the counters. Absolutely, no. It was spot on.
Well, thank you, because I know you put so much work into this. Like, it's such an awesome show to do and to watch. So I'm just glad I've done it okay. And apologies for whatever happened with my laptop. I guarantee that's going to make best bits, actually. I don't know what the timestamp is, but put the timestamp in the comments for us, guys. We'll add it to best bits, because how can it be ready? So let's go.
Sod's law, innit? Sod's law.
Oh man.
Sorry, we got to reload the animation, so I'm always for that.
Fair enough.
But Alex is saying JC would be jealous, so
oh, thank you. Thank you, man. I'm not taking this job. No way. No, this is Dan and JC's baby. 100%.
Right. I guess there's only one last thing to say, and that is up the Palace. Eagles.
Eagles.